So on a regular basis, I see some posts on Facebook groups and social media about mentalists that try to tell people to do less card tricks in mentalism. I think that's a big mistake. First of all, I think that cards, it's not so much that cards are not good for mentalism, it's that they are not used the right way. And the same is true for magic tricks, actually. So some people try to go into other type of deck of cards. So, for example, I have one here. So I really like this one because it's just some symbols. So you can use tarot cards or you can use symbol cards. So, for example, the eye and I don't know anything, the girl. So it's just some symbols. So this is very interesting. You can do a lot of things similar to what you can do with tarot cards. But another thing you can do is you can explore the meaning of cards as they are. And that's very interesting. So for example, I really liked Sasha Crespi in a recent video. He tells people, I'm going to share an illusion with you, and this is the Two of Hearts. And it's an illusion because there is two hearts that are separated. And the separation is the illusion because everything is actually connected. So it's very beautiful. I invite you to go check his work. So this is a very good example of what you can do. And you can do this with basically any cards. In another video I explained from a trick that I ask someone to take a black card to symbolize a difficulty he is going through in his life. And then I will tell him that one thing you should always remember, that through this difficulty is not what defines you. You're actually a king in disguise. So this is another way to do it. Like you can just use a symbol of cards, or you can add symbol to cards. So in my example, the black symbolizes the difficulty. It's a color. So you can use a color, you can use the king symbolizes, so you use the value for the king. In Sasha Crespi's case, you use both. You use the fact that there is two hearts and they are separated. So just look at cards and try to find their symbols. And another thing you can do this that's very interesting is, instead of, because for example doing tarot readings is very difficult for magicians, like we are not used to it, and even for mentalists that are not too much into the psychic stuff, it's not something that we usually like to do or find easy to do. But another thing, you see it as an exploration, okay? And an exploration means you don't have to have all the answers yourself. You explore with the participants. So for example, you could do a simple tricks. I don't have an idea right now, but the basic idea that I would go to is you ask the speaker to shuffle the cards and to draw 3 cards, like you would do in a tarot reading, and this can be past, present, and future. And then you will just turn them one by one, and instead of doing the reading yourself, you will be like, okay, so if this was your past, how would you interpret the fact that there is an Ace of Hearts? What does it brings to mind? So you let them do the reading to themselves. And then for the present, the Eight of Hearts, there is more hearts we can see. How would you interpret it? So this is a question. How would you interpret it? What is brought to mind when you see these symbols? And the future of the Three of Hearts. So we have all hearts here. It's very interesting. Maybe you have been thinking about relationships a lot lately. So you just let them do the reading themselves. And now we can think about, this is a basic idea. Now we can think about how to create a trick around that, for example. So one way to do it, for example, would be maybe we sum up the card at the end and we have a prediction for the value, just an idea like this. Or maybe we are going to put a prediction to the side, and maybe this will match the card of the future, for example. So you can create a lot of ideas around this. But I invite you to explore the meaning of cards as they are. Like not necessarily go into tarot cards or symbol cards like this. It can be interesting, but I feel like since everyone knows these cards already, so it's really complex. When you introduce something like this, you will have to speak about it because people don't know. So you'll have, I have a deck and they have symbols. It's not too long to explain, but it's not something that people know already. So it doesn't feel too familiar. And the good thing with the classic deck of cards is that people are very familiar with it. But they may not be familiar with the meaning of how to interpret these cards. So this is something that you can explore with them. And I think it's a much more interesting way probably to do it, because with the deck of cards you can do anything. If you have a tarot card, okay, you can do your tarot reading, maybe you have 1 or 2 tricks with it, but usually if you come from magic or from classical mentalism, you don't have a full repertoire with it. But with the deck of cards you do. So if you inject meaning into each of your current tricks, that becomes much more interesting.